Hello and welcome to this week's edition of The Scramble. I am your host, Austin Enney. We are here today with a few faces you may recognize. In fact, you'll be able to recognize all of them. First, we have Mark Ciavola. He will take on any and all Monopoly challengers. Asmaret Gebretekle, she believes in fairies. She does. Adrian Lefebvre, who still can't believe it's not butter. And Robert Roussel III. He once wrestled a bear for college credit. Now let's dive right into today's topics. Florida State Attorney Angela Corey says a grand jury will not be convened to determine the 26-year-old George Zimmerman will be in trial for killing 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. His investigation continues. Meanwhile, Zimmerman has moved out of his residence and is asking for financial support via his newly launched website. Mark, we start with you today. Will Zimmerman be tried? Should he be tried? And can he get a hearing given the amount of media coverage that has been so far covered in this case?
You know, I'm not sure we even know everything that happened. I think that, it's unfortunate for anyone to be in a position where they can't live in their home and they can't find work and they, because of the media's handling of this. So I don't have an answer for you, but I will tell you that the key to winning at Monopoly is to be the first person to get the purple Monopoly.
As always, your insight just dazzles me.
That was profound. Yeah,
Adrian.
How do you follow that? I don't even know.
I don't know.
How to follow that. I feel like there is a lot that we don't know about this case, and I feel that the authorities are hopefully following due process. Mm-hmm. The media has, I think, in a lot of ways mishandled this. It's really been blown into a huge story, and I think it's going to be very difficult to have a fair trial for him. I don't know of anyone who doesn't know of this situation. So it's like, as unfortunate as it is that he's moved out of his house. I know that he's been threatened. He has a lot of, obviously his life is altered as well. Right. But where is the justice in it? And I think that, we can continue to speculate, but hopefully there are some authorities that are trying to follow due process and trying to get to the bottom of this. And I don't think that we've been given the full story. So it's very difficult to make a call as far as should he or shouldn't he, and I certainly don't believe that he would get a fair trial at this point.
It's about that, we need to be the first, the media outlet, the first media outlet to report the story. We need to get it first, kind of thing. And there's been so much misinformation out there, from the editing of the 911 tape where he was actually asked what Trayvon Martin looked like, and was given a multiple choice answer. They cut that completely out of the tape, so it seemed like he just said, "Oh, well, this guy looks suspicious. He's a black guy." Well, no, there was actual a question, asked before that. I mean, there's just been so much misinformation in the public to make George Zimmerman seem just out of line, not just a racist, but that he's guilty. We don't know what happened. None of us know. There's so much misinformation out there. So if he were to be tried, there's no way he could get a fair trial in the state of Florida. Well, I mean, at the very least. Anywhere else, I don't know, but there's no way he could get a fair trial in the state of Florida.
Asmaret, are you on board with everybody saying it's not going to be a fair trial?
I would probably say that he might get a fair trial. And the reason I say this is because we have a couple of huge media news stories like this a year. If you really think about it, a couple years ago, within the Florida states, there was the Lacey case where she, the death of her 3-year-old child, and that whole incident, and it was huge, not just for, felt like several years, it was ongoing, and she was actually dismissed of the charges. And so I feel like if that was capable of happening, why wouldn't Zimmerman might be able to be afforded the same opportunity in his trial and things of that sort. It is unfortunate that he can't, live his daily life. He's having to move out of his home and things of that sort. But I think that he will be tried, and within Florida, the way that the rate has been lately, maybe he will be granted a fair trial. We'll just have to see.
Perfect. Thank you guys. Starting off strong as always. 5 people were shot and 3 killed last Friday evening in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 2 suspects have confessed to the crime, and prosecutors are now trying to determine if the shooters were racially motivated and if the crime can be considered a hate crime. Racially charged violence has been a hot topic as of late because of the Trayvon Martin case that we alluded to. So, Adrian, we'll start with you on this question. How do you believe this case affects, how do you believe the 2 cases affect each other?
Unfortunately, I think they will affect each other, if nothing less than in the media. And I think that that's unfortunate because both of these cases are very, very different. But the fact that we're turning them into, or the media And maybe they are, but the media certainly is turning these into racial issues. Certainly the situation in Tulsa, I feel like that is a terribly unfortunate, gosh, that's not even a good word to describe it. But obviously this young man is very disturbed. Yeah. And the fact that his father was killed by an African American 2 years ago and there wasn't any justice in that case, that his girlfriend committed suicide, this is a very unstable human being. And I don't know that race played a lot of issue, and I don't know that. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but the fact that it's automatically the go-to topic for this, I believe is unfortunate. And I do think that these two cases, because of their proximity in time, are going to affect each other, and certainly are going to affect those of us paying attention to the coverage. I don't feel like the media is doing a very good job of, as we find out now, months later, there's so much misinformation about Trayvon Martin and things that we didn't know, and yet we all jump to these conclusions. I think that we really do need to take a step back. The media should take a step back. The public should take a little more time and recognize first that these are two very different cases, and they should be treated as such.
Robert?
Yeah, they're definitely two different cases. Like as you said, this is, whereas on one case, the Trayvon Martin case, it was, something may have been a struggle, may not have been, somebody walking in. I mean, this is the case of a guy just going out and running down and killing people. And shooting people. You know what I mean? The media, as pertains to this case, I think they're doing a little bit of a better job than they did in Trayvon Martin case, simply because they went and they tried to track down certain information to back up the claims that they were making. There were Facebook posts in which the man was talking about with hatred for black people and stuff like that. Who can really go by Facebook posts nowadays? I mean, pretty much anybody will put anything up there. But I mean, this particular case, the guy just going out and killing 3 people, wounding 2 others. Trying to throw an extra hate crime charge on top of that. In Oklahoma, if they're being charged 3 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of first-degree murder gets you the death sentence. What else are you going to throw on top of that? There's no reason for you to go.
And this goes back to the whole conversation about hate crimes. I mean, would this be any better of a crime or worse of a crime if it was, black on white violence or Hispanic on white violence, or I mean, this whole theory that hate crime legislation prevents crimes is nonsense, or we wouldn't have the crime to even talk about. And the fact that we're going to assign a worse characteristic to a crime based on what race someone is just, it's the opposite of uniting this country as a people, and it continues the division that we have in this country by race.
Asmaret, you want to finish up the topic for us?
Yes, I just can't help to think when I think about the Tulsa case that recently happened, that what if, the shooter's father, who was, allegedly murdered by a black man, what if his father was murdered by a white man? Would he have gone out and, portray these same acts? Like, would he have gone out and committed all these crimes? And these are the kind of questions that you have to approach when the topic of hate crime arises. It's not just about color and race and things of that sort. It's just, what is the reasoning behind it? Was it just strategically aimed at black people for the violence that was committed on him and the hardships that he's been experiencing, or is it just solely by chance that he went into this black neighborhood and just happened to kill 5
Well, and the question is, when the black man killed his father, was that a hate crime?
Was that racially motivated?
We got to take a quick break here on the Scramble, but stay with us. More Scramble coming right up.
And now, another adventure with Savings Man.
Look, honey, it's my Social Security statement.
Oh, gosh, how are we going to retire on that?
Never fear, young savers.
It's Savings Man.
You need to save more. You'll need this.
Oh, the ballpark estimate worksheet.
That's right. Get it at choosetosave.org and find out how much you'll need to save for your future.
Gee, thanks, Savings Man.
No, thank you.
So visit choosetosave.org and stay tuned for more Savings Man.
Over half the people waiting for an organ transplant in the United States will die before they get one. You can increase your chances of getting a life-saving organ donation while helping others in need by joining Life Sharers. As a Life Sharers member, you get preferred access to the organs of other members. In return, you give fellow members first access to your organs. By offering your organs first to other organ donors, you create an incentive for non-donors to become donors. You inspire others to follow your lead. You'll also help make the system more fair. Half of the organs transplanted in the U.S. go to people who have not agreed to donate their own organs when they die. Membership is free and anyone can join. Even if you're already a registered organ donor, you should sign up. Join Life Sharers now. It's free and it could save your life.
Welcome back to the Scramble. On to topic number 3 now with my esteemed panelists. The current situation in Turkey may not work out the way the United Nations hoped. Although a ceasefire and troop withdrawals passed on Tuesday for the Syrian army, more bloodshed ensued. At least 45 people were confirmed dead, although the Syrian government has said they have moved troops out and have followed the agreement. There are still many questions that need to be answered. Robert, we start with you on this topic. What actions do you believe the United Nations should take in solving the problem?
Well, I mean, to me, it seems like a very complicated situation that's going on down there. I mean, if the Syrian government's not going to withdraw their troops, then the United Nations is probably going to have to send people in there to get them to back off. Because I can't think of any other reason if the Syrian government's going to continue to have this blood on the hands of their own people. I can't imagine what else you could possibly do to stymie that other than to send people in, and then we have another conflict on our hands. So, I mean, pretty much our possibilities are to let them continue just, murdering their own people, or then we go in or not we and send, but the United Nations send people in and then try to take care of the business themselves. But I mean, it's a lose-lose situation at this point.
Asmaret, do you agree with them?
Pretty much. I'm surprised at the fact of when this incident took place the day before the ceasefire plans were set to go, and I'm just thinking, what was the cause? Was this to prevent the ceasefire plans? Was this something that was politically motivated? Because these were refugee camps that were under attack in Turkey, and Syria is still undergoing these ceasefire plans. But I'm just kind of speculating it's not going to go the way that they're thinking that it's going to go because of an incident that happens the day before the plans are given the green light.
Mark?
I mean, first of all, I'll tell you, I don't trust anything the Syrian government says. Right. And I think a lot of these conflicts that we're seeing in the Middle East are decades overdue. And that's not to say that I think we should get involved in all these conflicts, or that, America needs to be world police, or that even the UN should be getting involved in these things. But the fact of the matter is this entire region has been run by dictators who have murdered their own people and, violated human rights laws. And now you're seeing a lot of these things come to a head. And while I don't think, as Robert said, it's a lose-lose situation, these issues have to be dealt with. And at least, hopefully they will be dealt with, and we won't have these issues go on, indefinitely like they have been.
Adrian?
Yeah, I think that it's going to be difficult for the UN to come in and do anything. I think that the timing of this is you have to wonder if it is politically motivated in some way for them to pull these attacks now. You would hope that they give the ceasefire a chance. My understanding is that it's signed today, and we have 48 hours to continue to have a total ceasefire. You would hope that will be the case. I think all indications are probably that it's not going to. I've read some accounts that the situation, that this attack especially, is going to escalate the situation. At which point, obviously, I think the UN will. I think you say it best. It's a lose-lose situation. And I don't really know, too, how much our involvement is going to help that situation, especially when you have other nations believing that this ceasefire was precipitated or what's the word, sped up by the West. Like, you guys have to do this, you have to do this now. When you get Russia and China involved in something like this, it's very much a civil matter that has been very much escalated. Right. Then yeah, something's got to be done. I don't know. I don't think that it's going to be good any way you cut it.
Come full circle on topic. Robert, back to you for follow-up questions. Has the United Nations failed at what it's supposed to accomplish here?
I mean, they tried to do things as peacefully as they possibly could. I mean, you can't. If the country is going to go out and do whatever they want, regardless of what sanctions you want to try and put on them, I mean, as peaceful as you want to be, there's no way you can be peaceful with crazy. There's just no way. It's
no
just
peaceful with crazy here.
No, it's not.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Time for a quick time out on the Scramble, but stay with us. More news and views coming up right here after the break.
This sector's clear, Captain.
It seems that way. But they're here.
We have an intruder.
I thought you guys were cleaning out here.
Oh, we are. We're, sweeping.
Yeah, for space aliens.
Yeah, for space aliens.
Well, good luck with that.
Imagine what a little time can do for your family.
Travel advisories to small business loans. Product recalls to home buying tips. Government car auctions to finding a new job. Whether you have information to get or ideas to give, go to the official source, usa.gov.
This is not a race. On the road to financial independence, the winners are the ones who stay the course. Learn more about securing your financial future and choose to save. It will pay off in the long run.
Welcome back to the Scramble. Now a hot topic on the day, topic number 4 for us. A hospital in Texas recently announced that they would not be accepting applications from potential employees who fail to meet weight requirements. The hospital explains that their healthcare professionals need to project an image of health. Asmerette, question to you now.
Yes.
Is this weight discrimination?
Definitely. I mean, I don't know. I kind of debate it at some points because of the fact that this is a health field that they're trying to project these regulations on or requirements. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that they should be, taking that role and trying to tell people if your BMI is over a certain point, you can't work here. And I mean, I understand what, the main points are to promote health and a positive image for the, the patients within this facility. But going as far as firing or rejecting people for employment, I don't agree with.
Mark.
Oh, I think in certain industries it's perfectly acceptable. I don't know that I'd want to buy a gym membership from someone who looked like me, for example. We talk about BMI over this, over that. My BMI is over easy with a side of bacon, and that's just the way it is. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with saying if you are wider than the drink cart, you cannot be a flight attendant. I mean, to me, it just depends on the industry. And I think when you're talking about the health industry, there should be an image of good health. I don't know that you'll feel very confident being taken care of by people who aren't necessarily healthy.
Adrian?
I agree with them. I think that they're in for a hard road here because I used to work in healthcare, and I don't know if I ever met a group of people that enjoyed their cigarettes or fast food more. I'm just saying, it's very much. It's a hard job. It's a very stressful. It's emotionally, physically demanding. They're going to have a hard time. And I'm with you. If they can set that standard and they can attract people who are healthful and can do their job well and last their 9 to 12 months to burnout or whatever it may be, then that's absolutely excellent. You make a great point with, as far as like, you're not going to hire a personal trainer if they aren't healthy themselves. If you catch them out back smoking a cigarette and having their, I'm not going to specify any kind of fast food, but fast food, So yeah, I think that they, good for them, but I don't know how easy it's going to be to enforce.
Robert, your thoughts on weight discrimination?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how you can enforce it because BMI classifies me as overweight. And, I mean, I guess
you
if
fought
you
a
want,
bear.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I didn't think I was that overweight, but that's what BMI classifies me as. And I mean, I'm pretty sure it has to do something with athletic and muscle mass, stuff like that, and that's why. But I feel like that's a flawed way to kind of try and view people anyway. But when it comes to overweight people, having these jobs, I mean, you can be overweight and still be a healthy person. You may just be a big person. That's it, and there's nothing you can really do about it. I mean, you can eat healthy.
BMI is not exactly a great way to measure
indicator.
this. But in certain industries, I mean, you shouldn't have to walk down the aisle of an airplane sideways to serve drinks.
I agree with that. If they have to turn or like contortion their bodies in order to get between hospital beds to do things, then you're not right for the job. You're just not.
Asmaret, follow-up question for you. What's next? Could this be a slippery slope that could lead to other physical attributes being justifications for not hiring?
Yeah, when I was doing a little bit of research on this, one of the topics that came up is like, what next? Are they going to be firing people for being ugly? Like things that are just kind of, I know, outlandish, but I mean, how many years ago, if somebody would have came up with this idea or requirement, people would have been like, no, you can't do this. But it's more acceptable in our society today because we have a serious obesity issue in this nation. And I understand why these companies or corporations are trying to promote health in our country, but is it their responsibility? I'm not sure. I feel like maybe some kind of personal space is being invaded here. If you're telling somebody you're overweight and you can't be in this position, or maybe they should do it in other ways, like tell them, have healthier meals inside the cafeterias and things like this, promote stairways and things like that. And I'm not sure. I'm just pretty sure there's other ways of going about this.
My question is, are there ugly people practicing medicine? Because I watch these medical dramas on TV.
And
I
they
see
look
no
good.
ugly people, no fat people, no bald people. So that's what I think hospitals are like.
It comes down to the customer. At the end of the day, you're satisfying a customer. You know what I mean? So
give them what they want.
Give them what they want.
Thank you guys very much. Time for a quick break here on The Scramble. When we come back, our final topic and last chance for our panelists to have at it. Stay with us.
Just like the Air Force Thunderbird pilot I flew with, I have to make split-second decisions as a top fuel driver. Hi, I'm Brandon Bernstein, driver for Kenny Bernstein's 2010 Copart Lucas Oil Top Fuel Dragster. To make it in the NHRA, I've had to work hard, stay focused, and make smart decisions along the way. To reach your goals, you need to think straight, stay on track, and give your very best effort in everything you do. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Is that thing getting closer? Look how high that thing's going. Look out there, look at the debris.
Give me the camera.
No, just drive, I've got it.
Zoom in, zoom in.
I can't believe this is happening.
Oh, the size of that thing.
It's everywhere.
Are you getting this?
Yeah, I've got it. What was that?
It's the National Guard.
How'd they get here so fast?
I don't know.
Pull over, pull over.
Do you have what it takes to head into the heart of the storm? Check out NationalGuard.com.
Welcome back to The Scramble, our final topic of the day for each and every one of you. Get ready, get excited, let's do this. With the signing of the Stock Act, President Barack Obama is hoping to eliminate the wall that separates Congress and the average American. The act bars members of Congress from trading stocks based on information learned on Capitol Hill information that is not available to most Americans. The goal is to level the playing field and possibly restore Americans' faith in Congress. Mark, we start with you on this one. What are your thoughts on this new Stock Act?
Well, insider trading is against the law. I think the laws that apply to all Americans should apply to members of Congress and people that work in the federal government. I think this is a no-brainer.
Adrian?
Yeah, I think transparency, I really don't know how much you can restore the public's faith. You know what I mean? They're like, no, we're telling you the truth now. But look, we just signed it. I don't know how much it's actually going to go towards that. But certainly, I mean, they should be required to follow the same laws that we do. They shouldn't have information that they are only privy to. That I like the fact that they're going to forfeit their ridiculous pensions if they are caught doing this or doing that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's a good step in transparency. I don't know that I certainly don't feel some warm fuzzy feeling about trusting my government all that much more because of this. But yeah, I think it's a good step in the right direction.
Robert?
Yeah, it's a step. It's a step in the right direction.
One step.
It's one step. It definitely has some fixing that it needs to be done. Like it says. And it's explicit in the language that there are certain things that they can't do. And it's like, well, what are the other things that they can do? You know what I mean? That once again, we're not able to do as, regular Americans. I don't. It doesn't restore my faith in Congress at one bit whatsoever. I still have plenty of issues with what the federal government does. However, as Mark said, insider trading against the law. They still will only lose their pension or there's some other thing. But Martha Stewart went to jail for that.
Yeah.
So can we? Maybe that should be the next step. And if they're caught insider trading, then they should go to jail. I mean, they can go to Club Fed like Martha did, but they can go to jail.
Asmaret?
Yes, I'm going to kind of agree with the group here. I do think that this is a good step in the right direction, but there are plenty more steps to take. Politics and money in D.C. is a huge issue, and America is just slowly, especially over the economic downturns and things of that sort that's been going on within this past decade, we need a lot of these kind of acts, and our government needs to be able to include these citizens of this country in what they're doing. We have to know what's going on, especially when it comes to money in times when a lot of people don't have a lot of that. So transparency in our Congress and the funds and everything is definitely a must.
Martin, you want to say something else? Go ahead, Adrian. You can jump in. Go ahead.
You sure it's not butter? I think that it's sad though that we do need these acts. It's unfortunate that we aren't electing. These are public servants. That's where the issue is. I think it's a cultural issue at this point. And I don't think that adding more paperwork on top of this is going to deal with the deeper ethical issues. And I just think I think that this exposes that.
Right. Why aren't we? The laws are already in place. Why are we writing? Why are we signing more papers for something that's already in place?
Right.
We do that a lot.
Yeah.
We do.
Final thoughts today. Mark, you get it today, so enjoy it.
Well, I'll enjoy it. I look at how our country is right now, and we have so many people that are still out of work and still on unemployment, and people who aren't even counted in unemployment, and gas prices are astronomical. People can't afford to stay in their homes. They're filing bankruptcy, things like that. And it's good to know that all of this time, Barack Obama has been busy on the Stock Act. So that's my final note for the day.
Final 2 cents, as always. Wow. You guys.
The guy's got to do something.
He's doing something, step in the right direction.
In
I
the
think
right
we can
direction.
all agree on that.
In the right direction.
Well,
redundant, nonetheless.
Thank you guys all for joining us today on The Scramble. For Mark Ciavola, for Adrian Lefebvre, for Robert Sell, and for Asmaret Gebertekle, I'm Austin Eddy. We'll see you next week right here on The Scramble.